There's a question we don't ask enough. What happens to meaning when machines can do everything we do, but better? For most of human history, work wasn't just about survival. It was about purpose, identity, a way to matter in the world. But we're entering an age where artificial intelligence can write, create, diagnose, design, and decide. So where does that leave us? What does meaningful work look like when the machines can do it all? This isn't a story about fear. It's a story about what it means to be human when everything changes. Let's go back, way back. 10,000 years ago, there was no such thing as a job. There were tasks: hunt, gather, survive. But even then, humans did something strange. We painted on cave walls. We told stories around fires. We carved patterns into bone that served no survival purpose. We made meaning even when we didn't have to. Work, as we know it today, is relatively new. For most of history, your work was your identity. You were a blacksmith, a farmer, a weaver. Not because you chose it, but because your father was, and his father before him. Meaning came from continuation, from being a link in an unbroken chain. Then came the Industrial Revolution. Suddenly, work became something you did, not something you were. You sold your time. You repeated the same motion 1,000 times a day. Meaning wasn't built into the work anymore. You had to find it elsewhere. In family, in faith, in the hours after the factory bell rang. And for a while, we adapted. We built labor movements. We created the weekend. We told ourselves that work was the price of a good life, and meaning would be waiting for us at the end of the shift. But now, something different is happening. Artificial intelligence isn't just automating repetitive tasks anymore. It's creating art, writing novels, composing symphonies, diagnosing diseases with precision no human can match. It's doing the things we thought made us special. So if a machine can paint, what does it mean to be a painter? If an AI can write, what does it mean to be a writer? If intelligence itself can be bottled and deployed at scale, what's left for us? Here's the thing. We've been here before. Not exactly here, but close enough to learn from. When the printing press arrived, scribes thought their world was ending. Their craft, their years of training made obsolete by a machine. But something unexpected happened. More books meant more readers. More readers meant more ideas. The world didn't need fewer thinkers. It needed more. The scribes who adapted didn't disappear. They became editors, translators, teachers. The work changed, but meaning didn't vanish. It transformed. The same pattern repeated with the steam engine, the assembly line, the personal computer. Each time we feared the end of meaningful work. Each time we were wrong. Not because the fear was baseless, but because we underestimated human adaptability. But this time feels different, and maybe it is. Previous revolutions automated muscle. AI automates mind. And if mind is what made us special, what happens when it's no longer scarce? Let's sit with that for a moment, because the answer isn't obvious. And maybe that's okay. Think about why you work. Really think about it. For some, it's money, survival, security. That's real, and it matters. But for many, there's something else. A feeling of contribution, of being useful, of creating something that wouldn't exist without you. That last part is what's at stake. The feeling that you matter, that your presence in the world makes a difference. And here's where it gets interesting, because meaning was never actually in the work itself. It was in what the work represented. Connection, contribution, progress, legacy. a craftsman carved a chair, the meaning wasn't in the sawdust or the sore hands. It was in knowing someone would sit in that chair, that it would hold a family together at dinner, that it would last beyond his lifetime. When a teacher spent hours grading papers, the meaning wasn't in the red ink. It was in the moment a student understood something for the first time, in shaping a young mind, in being part of someone's story. The work was the vehicle, not the destination. So what happens when AI can build the chair, grade the paper, write the code, design the building? Does the meaning disappear, or does it shift? Consider this. We're already living in a world where most of our needs are met by systems we don't understand. You didn't build your phone. You don't know how the internet works. You've never met the person who grew your food. And yet, your life has meaning. You find purpose not in making everything from scratch, but in how you connect, create, and contribute within the system that exists. AI might be the next layer of that system, a tool so powerful it feels like magic. But still, a tool. The question isn't whether AI can do what we do. It's what we choose to do that AI can't, or won't, or shouldn't. Because there are things that matter precisely because a human did them. A handwritten letter means something an email doesn't. Not because the information is different, but because someone took the time, made the choice, held the pen. A home-cooked meal tastes different than a restaurant's, even if the recipe is identical. Because love was the ingredient the chef didn't have. A teacher's encouragement means more than an algorithm's feedback, even if the words are the same. Because a human saw you, believed in you, decided you mattered. These things aren't efficient, they're not scalable, and that's exactly why they matter. So maybe meaningful work in the age of AI isn't about what we produce. It's about what we choose, what we care about, what we decide is worth doing, even if a machine could do it faster. Maybe it's teaching, not because we're the only ones who can, but because we're the only ones who care if a student truly understands or just memorizes. Maybe it's art, not because AI can't generate images, but because human art is a conversation across time, a record of what it felt like to be alive in this moment. Maybe it's caregiving, not because robots can't assist, but because being seen by another human, being cared for by someone who chose to be there, is fundamentally different than being processed by a system. The poet David Whyte once said, "The antidote to exhaustion isn't rest, it's wholeheartedness." Maybe the antidote to obsolescence isn't competing with machines. It's choosing work that's wholehearted. Work we do even if no one paid us, even if a machine could do it better. Because meaning isn't a formula. It's not efficient. It can't be optimized. And it definitely can't be automated. Here's what I think. We're standing at a threshold. Behind us is a world where work equaled worth, where productivity was the measure of a life. Ahead is something we haven't built yet. A world where machines handle the tasks and humans reclaim the meaning. But we have to choose it, consciously, deliberately. We have to decide that a human presence matters even when it's not required, that care, attention, and intention are valuable, even when they're inefficient, that some things should be done by hand, not because we must, but because we want to. This isn't nostalgia. It's not a rejection of progress. It's a recognition that progress isn't just about what we can do. It's about who we choose to be. The machines are coming. They're already here. And they're extraordinary. But they're not us. They don't wonder. They don't ache. They don't lie awake at night thinking about purpose. We do. And maybe that's the point. Meaningful work in the age of I might not look like work at all. It might look like presence. Like choosing the slower path because the journey matters. Like making something with your hands because the act of making is the meaning. It might look like teaching a child to ride a bike, even though they could learn from a video. Like writing a letter to a friend, even though a text is faster. Like cooking dinner for someone you love, even though delivery is easier. These small acts, these human choices, they won't show up in productivity reports, they won't scale, and they'll never be obsolete. Because meaning was never about efficiency. It was always about us, about choosing to show up, to care, to connect. And no machine can do that for you. The future isn't written yet, but one thing is certain. As long as we're asking what it means to matter, we haven't lost ourselves to the machines. We're still here, still human, still searching for meaning. And that search, that's the work that will always matter.